Bird count. We counted birds Thanksgiving Day. 2 cardinals, jays, a flock of juncos at the feeder. Seth spotted a yellow-bellied sapsucker and his pecking ring around the holly. Finch put his finger up to feel the sticky sap. We took Crammy for a walk, creaky old lab, scattering clotted leaf piles, inhaling the mild dampness of the afternoon. Spiraling upward like leaves, vultures, maybe hawks, drifted. Down at the river's edge, we watched the full moon rise at sunset. Its path, like planks across the water, interrupted by the great blue heron, stepping oh so slowly, seeking supper. Then, moon-dazzled, we went home to find the biggest bird of all, and ate it. Crape Myrtle ladies. The birds have picked the dogwoods bare. The last valiant rose has dropped her petals. But the tall ladies outside my window, just yesterday, discarded their frivolous summer flounces of pink crepe paper blossoms for leafy garments glowing gold against a somber November sky. All winter their naked limbs will be clothed only in bark patterns of softest gray, flushed rose by morning sunlight, until that first fresh wash of green restores their modesty with spring's new fashions. On discovering Marc Rothko. Across huge empty spaces, a huge commanding space pulsates with 2 colors, magenta seeping into crimson. No hard lines, sharp edges to stop, trip over. I am drawn, absorbed into infinite possibilities. On another wall, black fuses into a small strip of palest cerulean. Porous darkness yields softly to blue beginnings. Dense hues vibrate, as unique as each one of us, gazing at a mystery, mesmerized and strangely reassured. Christmas now and then. Bare branches form tree traceries, as delicate and durable as a Dura engraving. "Will you march with me, Grandma?" grandson asks, curls bouncing, horn tootling. Uncles enter, bringing more gifts, stories, laughter, and memories. A litter of 5 small boys, each opening his pile of presents. A little girl being passed from lap to lap of adoring brothers. Tired Mom and Pop embracing at the end of a happy day. Grandson shouts, "Dinner's ready," as family gathers, hand clasping hand around the table. In the gathering dusk, 3 does, sharply etched silhouettes, hesitate at the edge of the woods. Prairie. Child of small creeks and swift tides, bounded by mudflats and marshes, I walked the ancient live oak's huge low branches, bogged the pluff mud, squelching out hidden crabs. In the hot still nights, smelled the rank detritus of low tide, and heard the sound of oysters popping open as they fed. Wake to the early morning guller cries, "Hey-o, shrimps going by! Butter bean, okra, and huckleberry, 10 cents a quart," measured out in a battered tin can. What did I know of prairie grasses higher than my head, stretching to an endless horizon, without benefit of tree or shrub, sentineled by circling hawks under a burning dome of blue? Until the summer day we crossed the wide river and the big island, sputtered by outboard motor to the farthest barrier spit, eagerly crossed its barren waste, bare feet scorching on the prickly path, reached the wide white sands, and saw the vast Atlantic, my prairie, my home. Praise House Shout. Don't want nobody bothering me. I's a old lady, can't you see? Boil the clothes and iron 'em too. Put a nickel in my shoe. Chickens scratching round my door. Won't sweep that doorstep any more. Lost that man, done died on me. Misery heart is all I be. Come, loving Lord, and wrap me round. Lift me up from this hard ground. Angel wings beat round my head. Raise me, Lord, up from the dead. Hey, Santa baby, I want a brand new heart, no broken parts. How about a hip that swings, a voice that sings, joy to the world, just for a start? Let's add a flexible knee to hang from the tree, eyes star bright, teeth that are white, faultless memory. Forget all the above, for a world filled with love, a God's eye view, making all things new. You can do it too, yes you can. Santa baby, you're the man. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Word spoken in haste, the word not spoken, all we wish erased, promises broken, faith we've betrayed, love unexpressed, commitment never made, kind acts repressed, vanish when the light of love dawns afresh upon the heart's blight. We are morning blessed. Vision. Thy loving kindness is before my eyes. Psalms 26. No blurred images, infirmities of body and soul, ugly, hateful, angry, distorted, disrupted. Today, a world clarified, gentled by my new shades, love's immaculate lens. Home. Home is not a place, but space to know God's grace and grow. At my back I always hear Time's winged chariot hovering near. Thank you, Andrew Marvell. Do it now. Write it down. Sweep the porch, bell the cat, join a protest. Speak your love, not softly. Phone your friend in Calcutta. In this moment, tsunamis may come, poles melt, penguins drown, polar bears starve. Bake a cake, frost it with sonnets. Weave a bracelet of villanelles. Bet you can't. In another hour, bombs will explode, cities vaporize, vanish. Shelter the homeless, feed the hungry. Swing in a hammock, read all of Proust. Tomorrow, your knees may give out, your hips crumble, eyes go dim. The explosion in your brain may not be a poem. Write it down. Do it now. Queen Anne's Lace. Trailing beside railroad tracks, junkyards, tenaciously thrusting through clay and rocky soils, embroidering trashed empty lots, scourge of gardens, neat paths, bordered beds. You pattern the landscape with fine lace from your white Elizabethan collars, stained with a carmine speck spilled from your small, royal, neatly severed head. From Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Snugly immured in flowered vale, smugly inured to world travail of unspeakable crimes, she dreamed in alpine climes while war endured. In conflict's aftermath, pursued the path of devastation, found the final desecration in Dachau. Now came the realization. Final solution, incineration. Children wrenched from doom, parents screaming sent to rat-infested huts to starve, but on their filthy window panes, scratched with their nails, not names, hope transcendent cries, behold, 1,000 butterflies. Nancy's house, Fripp Island. Waves are a crinkle of foam, a strip of crepe paper separating sea from sand. Secluded in thickets of beach plum and bay laurel, does appear at dawn and dusk, stepping discreetly. Oleanders and palmettos guard the porches. Inside, all is light, casual comforts in vivid colors. This is a place of abundant hospitality, generosity, inclusive, embracing. Why does it break my heart, fill me with intense longing for past love, new romance? Ella sings Cole Porter. Every time we say goodbye, and I weep memories. House parties, family, feasting, stories, sand, castles, dollars, pipers, the lift of the big wave, the shock of the breakers, walks on the beach for intimate sharing. It's all here, the love and the grief. I embrace its pain with thanksgiving for all its gifts, and dance to the ceaseless basso profundo, the desolate breath of the sea. Manifesto. Stretch out full upon a hill, star-stunned. Pick all spring's daffodils, far flung. Sip today's opening flower, bee-stung. Toll the music in each hour, bells rung. Shimmy to the boogie beat, jazz sprung. Holler with the gospel heat, burst lung. Disdain to answer passion's call, head hung. Rejoice in love's thrall till all songs sung. Terminus. Each day as we drove out together, I put my hand on your frail knee in silent reassurance. You are still here. One more day. In the evening, watching you reading, your strong profile softened by lamplight, I long to touch your face. One more night. Before dawn, I woke from a dream, terrified, sobbing. I couldn't find you. You comforted me. I won't be far. I saw a distant star. A moment, very near the end, you reached for my hand, your voice a whisper. My only fear is losing you. There was no longer day or night or star of hope. Gifts. He came all the way in from the barn to apologize. This man who never said I'm sorry, for a thought he had, a criticism never before expressed. It's all right if you just want to work crossword puzzles or play solitaire. His hands were always busy, building boats, planting gardens, carving birds, pulling up crab pots in the early dawn, reading Prescott, Proust, always reading. Why wasn't I out with my paints, capturing the light on the marshes, the lone twisted pine in the golden field, the creek patterned black and white with buffle heads. We both knew the answer. His sharp photographic images, Paris, a peace march in D.C., immediate, compelling moments, were framed by a truer eye. I wish he had been there the day I stood up to read my poem. At age 83, my first contest, to welcome a new gift, as surprising and precious as tiger lilies in the fall. We planted his stone on his piney point, gave his ashes to the outgoing tide. 4 generations of a loving family. Standing with his waterman friend, I questioned, should I have faced the stone west, out toward the bay? No, he said, you done right. I never saw a man love the sunrise more. The hidden stream. It's very near, she said. Turn off the highway here, and yes, through the junkyard. From the stress of frantic, honking traffic, driving beside rusted corpses of once gleaming bodies, arriving behind a screen of evergreen, pungent pine and hemlock, we stopped beside a stream. Hardly more than a brook, it tumbled over slippery stones and took, undeterred, its joyous, faithful journey to the sea. Entranced, I gazed and knew this secret veil to be a sacred view revealed to me. Epiphany. That is my life, exuberant, pure, unaware of any soiled, tortuous thoroughfare of clamoring mob. My true self, hid with Christ in God. Some later day, I visited a dying man, his face turned to the wall, told him the story of the true stream, and as he raised his head, knew that this gift was never meant for me at all. Friends. New friends are bright bay waters, stirred by a freshening wind into changing currents, different patterns. Old friends are unruffled pools, reflecting memories of our shared experience, deepening bonds. All friends are the ceaseless sea's unlabored motion, in constant ebb and flow of beneficent love. Tides high. Between its marshy bounds, separated from broader waters, the tide rushes in and away, allowing only a crest of calm at the flood. To this moment we sprang, barefoot at last, out of winter's chafing, across the wide expanse of lawn, stopping perhaps to taste the bursting sweetness of an early fig, sample the forbidden fruit of the pomegranate, ah, Persephone, pick up a squirrel-abandoned pecan, avoiding the cowpats and the prickers, sprinted under the spreading shade of the ancient live oak, where the cow slowly flicks the flies. Clambered over the old tabby seawall, onto the dock, splintered, oozing creosote, blistering under a noonday sun. Swift across the covered platform, launched into the cold, turbid, enveloping depths, the dark, fearful element. Seized, struggling, buoyed up, swimming, triumphant, free. No sunset and evening star, when you hear that I have died, let the cry pass from friend to friend, tides high. The little brown mare was frisky in the gray afternoon chill, snow threatening, lazy flakes in the air, as we held our horses to a slow trot. A car stopped, window rolled down, and we heard the name Pearl Harbor exploding into the collective consciousness on a quiet Sunday in December along a country road in Maryland. It was as if a great breath were drawn in, individually and as a nation, and held, all bets off, until. In the huge, bright hangars, the killer planes, enemy of pilots, the B-26s, waited impatiently to take to the skies, dealing death over North Africa. Off they go into the wild blue yonder, flying high into the sun. In my small gray cubicle, I learned a new skill, IBM key punch operator. 3 girls shared a walk-up in a brownstone, refrigerator meals, 1 pair of nylon stockings, swayed with Ginger and Fred. Heaven, I'm in heaven, sang with Frankie. That old black magic has me in its spell. Wore our hair down to our shoulders and our skirts above our knees. Working the graveyard shift meant time for cocktails at the Longfellow. The last time I saw Paris, her heart was young and gay. Dinner and jitterbugging at the Belvedere, a pink camellia in my hair, in the mood, take the A train, or the Friday night special, steak and a cocktail $1.50 at the Italian restaurant on Lombard Street. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover. Rogers, Hammerstein, and Agnes DeMille broke tradition with a smash hit. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. My brother Stratton graduated from Harvard, class of 40, youngest member of the state legislature, pride of the family, of the whole town. Beaufort's sweetheart, they called him. I called him Ratty. He called me Dreary. We danced so well together. An open step, a slide, a dip. When they begin, the begin. Newly minted ensign, USN. The night the telegram came, missing in action, I went out dancing with a soldier from Fort Meade. I don't think he had a name. In Beaufort, each morning, our beloved Aunt Helen put on her best dress and waited in the parlor of our ancestral home as the town came to call. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but we will meet again some sunny day. Beaus were scarce, an assortment of 4Fs, a randy boy from Princeton, a sweet conscientious objector. An engineer at Glen Martin's joined the Marines. On leave from OCS, he wore his dress blues. His mother, white hair neatly waved under a feathered hat, rode in a day coach, crushed between standing, sleeping soldiers, all the way from Iowa for our wedding. She made that stifling, sleepless, sacrificial journey again 1 year later to see her only grandchild for the first and last time. They called us war widows, so young, hastily married, to boys we had grown up with, or strangers, hardly known, briefly loved. We went home to our families, some of us with babies, each a precious part of the missing one, snuggle sweetly in our beds, proudly displayed in strollers. We boiled bottles, scrubbed diapers, canned vegetables, went to the movies, no time for sergeants, Mrs. Miniver, wrote letters, sent photos, packages, listened to the radio for news, waited for the mail, waited. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. I waited in vain for any word from a faithless husband only 200 miles away. A different, secret loneliness. We swam off the dock, crabbed from the seawall, no gas for the beach, visits to friends, a spree in the city, no new clothes, cars. Children of the Great Depression, we had few luxuries to give up. I borrowed the cook's bicycle to do errands, with ration stamps, buy margarine, powdered milk and eggs, Spam, returned it after making my rounds, collecting news for the local weekly, at the courthouse, schools, black and white, Harry's restaurant on Bay Street, where the town's elders met for morning coffee and gossip. Then typed it out on an old Corona, deadlined the noon train Wednesdays, first as reporter, then editor, finally owner of the Beaufort Times. The small town in the bend of the river, banded by islands, creeks, and marshes, its graceful pillared houses built by planters on its high bluff, shaded by live oaks laced with Spanish moss, was overwhelmed by families come to say goodbye to Marine sons and husbands embarking from the huge base at Paris Island. Tried to make every spare space available. Our 2 extra bedrooms enfolded young couples' final embraces. Aunt Helen put on the coffee pot before first light, to ease the tearing tears of parting. I'll get by as long as I have you. Did he come home? We never knew. Charlie and Ethel from Brookline shared 2 years and a first baby in the corner bedroom with the fireplace. A June dawn brightened the river as I hung out diapers on the upstairs piazza. The radio startled. The voice of Charles de Gaulle addressing the French people. Le bataille suprême est engagée. The invasion of Europe had begun. Allons enfants de la patrie. 2 tables of bridge met every Wednesday night to share the daily trivia, thin surface of our lives, barely covering unspoken hopes and fears. 5 Marine wives, 3 husbands lost, first at Guadalcanal, then Iwo Jima, finally in the last terrible slaughter on Okinawa. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Unexpectedly, a Southern Gothic novel unfolds. Uncle Fred, head of the household and the family business, died of typhus. My sister, as suddenly divorced, moved in with her 3-year-old daughter, and Great-Aunt Alma arrived from New Hampshire with her parakeet and morning prayers. We were a household of wounded, lonely females, saved by a lusty baby boy, crowing and growing, pulling up on the Chippendale chairs, toddling along the garden paths. In Baltimore, to finalize my divorce, I stood in the rain at Pennsylvania Station, weeping, head bowed, as a stunned and grieving crowd said goodbye to the only president I could remember, as his body passed through on its way to Hyde Park. "Oh, Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. It is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead." 3 years after the fact, the Navy Department informed us that Stratton Christensen had been blown to bits when his subchaser, a converted yacht, was sunk by a German submarine off the coast of Cape May, New Jersey, less than 6 months after Pearl Harbor. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. On the night of August 15th, 1945, somewhere off the coast of Japan, the lights of every ship in the fleet came on in a blaze of victory. At the Beaufort Air Station, all the planes took off in formation, flying low like a flock of doves, signaling peace. Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel, we've got the blues on the run. But a mushroom cloud had risen, spreading a darkness that would obscure the light of reason and the rays of righteousness into a fearful future. Across the dance floor at the officers' club, a tall, blond naval officer with a slightly tilted gait walked toward me, a glass in one hand and his heart in the other. Some enchanted evening you may meet a stranger, you may hear him call you across a crowded room. The held breath of those 4 terrible defining years for me and for my country was released at last. 50 years later, a stone was placed in the National Cemetery in Beaufort under the live oaks planted by our grandfather 100 years earlier. My son, my brother's namesake, read the poem Poet William Meredith, prep school roommate, has included in all his anthologies. In Memoriam, Stratton Christensen. The Marine Honor Guard fired a volley. The bugler played taps. Da, 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 da. And the folded flag was placed in my trembling hands. America, America, God mend thine every flaw, confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law.